Hello everybody. So I've been playing with a new toy this morning and I thought I'd film my next experiment with it. It's all experiment. I've never used this before, so today I've been playing with different mediums and different stencils and stamps and seeing how things turn out. So the first thing I did, this gel press came in a hard shell, which it says to keep storing in that, so that's what I'm going to do. And it came with these clear pieces on the front and back of it, and I'll put those back on when I store it away. And so I read the directions here before I started. It says gently clean with mild soap and water, rinse and pat dry with a paper towel. And I've done that in between each use. And excuse my hands because I have been painting. Totally ruined a manicure and I have paint everywhere. So you can use gel hand sanitizer or baby wipes to gently rub the surface and then wipe it clean and pat it dry with a paper towel. If you get tough stains on there, it says it won't affect how it works in the future. It doesn't matter. And if you've ever used clear acrylic stamps, it's the same way. They get stained, but they don't. It doesn't matter for future. It doesn't come off on your work. But it says you can take baby oil, wipe the surface with baby oil, and then clean with soap and water, and then pat with a paper towel. So I may try that because I've stained mine up pretty good today. It says here, it says it's going to change color over time, but the stains will not affect printing from then on. Okay, it's especially important to lay it flat, to keep it flat on a non-porous surface. Store it flat in its original packaging or on a smooth piece of glass. Do not place your Journey gel press directly on a surface that may absorb the harmless mineral oil like a wooden table. During storage, do not lay anything on the gel surface, plastic wrap, wax paper, nothing, because it could leave a permanent imprint on your gel press. It says don't use the Color Fusion stamp cleaner, and I assume that goes for any stamp cleaner. Don't use it on this surface, it could damage it. Don't use glossy photo paper. Keep away from heat sources, pets, I think that goes without saying. I think if you got pet hair on this gel surface, it would be a nightmare to get off. It's an art and craft use only, not a toy. Okay, we got that. And then it has some demonstrations on how to use it. And we're going to try this next, I think, because I've done some other things. So I think we're going to do this laying down one color, using a stencil with another color on top. I think that's what we're going to do. But we'll see as it goes along. I may change my mind. Okay, so let's get all the packaging off of it. And here's what I have for the gel press. Let me show you some of the things I've done so far this morning. Okay, this first one, I used acrylic paint, and I just took a stamp and stamped different stamps and stamped in there to pull the paint off so that the white paper showed through in areas, which I think this would be a really cool background even for a card. Be really nice. This one, I just took some acrylic paints, put it on with the baby wipe, and then laid the paper on top and used the brayer to rub the back side of the paper, and this is what I came up with. This one, I used a stamp set called Thread Sketch, and I used just Fun Stampers Journey Fusion ink. You can see I had just cleaned my gel press, and so it was wet in some areas, and so you got these really cool, almost like water droplet looking on your, which was what they were, droplets of water on the print, which I think is really cool too. And then this one, I used a couple of different colors, and I put the stamp down in the red, pulled it up, put it over in this greenish, this lime green color, and so it was kind of a cool effect to that too. This was the first print I did, and I did it with ink and stencil, and this first one really bubbled a lot. I think this thing has to be conditioned. The more you use it, the less it bubbles like this and makes this effect. Which this is a neat effect too, but it wasn't the look I was going for. So, oh, and I did a background page in my art journal already, and this was 3 different colors of ink that I patted down on the gel press, and then I took this Thread Sketch and I just put it down and pulled it up a few times, and then I flipped the whole gel press over onto my art journal page, and I came up with I think it's really cool, this print. I really like it. So we're going to do something like that, but we're going to use a stencil, and I'm going to clip this over here so it's not getting in my way. And we'll put put that aside. Here's my gel press. I'm going to make sure I'm really in frame. And you can see how stained it is from using, especially that red really stained it. So we're going to play with the stencil. And I think that we're going to play with some, let's see, some paint. And I'm going to put down the light blue color first. And I'm just going to put a little bit of it down. And I found out from using this, a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a whole bunch of this paint when you're doing this. So, and it takes a little bit to get it all over from the clumps you've left. And if you like the look of, you know, see how it's got some spots that haven't taken the color yet, I would leave it like that, especially for an art journal page. I think that's kind of cool to not have it all even, and you know, yeah, I think it really looks neat like that. So I'm not going to get it, I'm not going to worry about it being completely, and then I've got this rag here that's wet, and I'm going to take off most of this blue with that so I don't have to run to the sink in the middle of the video, which is what I've been doing each time with this. So I'm just going to get off most of the light blue. It's not going to matter because my next color is going to be darker. Okay, so I'm going to stencil down right here. And I'm going to take a little bit of the darker Blue Lagoon. And I'm going to put just a little drop there, 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 there. And then I'm going to take this brayer again, and I'm going to keep going over it until I've spread this color out. And I may need more. I don't know. This is all, like I said, this is all me experimenting at this point with this stuff. Okay. Now I can see it's just kind of pulling up that light blue rather than laying down color, which is what I want it to do. Some color in between, and not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be really even. Just want some cool color. Okay, I'm going to lift this up, move it over here, and do some more of this dark color. The other thing I can do is, I could have done was lay the stencil down on its other side because it's got this dark color, and see what that looks like. And I notice I may have too much paint because I think it's getting underneath there this time. So we'll see what that looks like though. Okay, so on this side, I'm going to turn this over right here and kind of press this down. And then I'm going to take this side and do the same. Press it down. And again, this is just kind of a background for an art journal page. So I'm not going for anything precise like I would for a card or something. Okay. Now I'm going to take this in my hand. This is the tricky part. Put my art journal page here. And I'm going to flip this. See how close to the inside seam I can get it, and flip this around. And then I'm going to just press it down. I may actually take the brayer, though it has ink all over it. It's okay. I can wash off the back of this when I'm done. I just want to press this in here, and we'll see what we came up with for my art journal background. And that is kind of cool for a background for an art journal. Oops, I just hit my camera. I'm so sorry. Swinging you around. So this is one look that I got with the gel press, and this was another look that I did, and this was with ink, this was with paint. I think both turned out pretty cool. I think if I were to do it again with the paint, I think I would use the dark color maybe and come back with the light. I don't know. I think I pulled, this light color didn't really show. It kind of pulled up with the brayer, and I ended up with a lot more white than what I intended to have. But I'm going to come back and do some stuff on top of this, and that'll be another video. So anyway, this is me just playing around with the gel press for the first time today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will have a blog post that I will link to below with all of the products that I used in case you like any of them for yourself. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and happy crafting.